back to my YouTube channel. My name's Gabby, and if you couldn't tell, I love reading. And I would love to share my hobby with you. So today's video, I'm going to be telling you what books got me into reading and what books I think you should read to get yourself into reading. I'm drinking hot cocoa, so today's going to be a good day. Okay, so I'm going to be telling you I have romance, YA romance, fantasy, and a little bit of thriller. So I'm going to be just telling you all these books that got me into reading and what books I loved. So without further ado, let's get started because I do not want to keep you guys waiting. Sorry, I'm putting this note on my thing. Okay, so first, starting off with YA. I only have 3 actual YA books that I've read that I've actually liked. So I've read The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I wasn't a big fan of, but we move on. Okay, so the first book I have, which is going to be inverted for you, but I'm going to put a picture of it on the screen, is by Ali Hazelwood, and it's called Check-in Mate. Literally fell in love with this book. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and can we just appreciate how pretty the cover is? Hello. And also, Ali Hazelwood is literally one of my favorite authors of all time. Love her writing. Anyways, this book is about Mallory, and she used to play chess very, very often until it kind of destructs her family, so she quits playing altogether. And then she finally gets convinced to play one charity game of chess, for charity obviously, and she ends up playing the world champion, Nolan Sawyer, and she actually ends up winning the game against him, and then he keeps begging her to play. He's like, play chess with me. I don't know what else to say if I don't want to spoil it. But they end up playing, and she gets very good at it again, kind of falls in love with it again, but doesn't want to destroy her family. So there's kind of a hesitation factor. But yes, this is a cute little love story, but also kind of finding herself. So I think this is a super good YA book. There is some suggestive stuff in here, but I think it's good. Also, I'm not very good at explaining these books, so if I were you, I would just go on Goodreads or whatever and just look up. Also, I promise my hair's not greasy, I put gel. Okay, the next book is actually a mystery and thriller kind of vibe. This is called The Obsession by Jessie Q Satanto. I have no idea. I'll put another photo, but on the front cover it says boy meets girl, boy stalks girl, girl gets revenge. Okay, so this book is about Logan and Delilah, and I actually read this book 2 or 3 years ago, but I literally love this book and it's still stuck with me. And especially during Halloween time, it's not that long of a book, and it just gets you into the spooky mood. So Logan thinks him and Delilah are meant to be, and he wants to learn everything about Delilah. So he basically ends up stalking her, even though he thinks it's romantic. And Logan actually sets up a hidden camera and watches her. And Delilah is keeping some very, very, very interesting secrets. And there is so much more to her than meets the eye. So Logan basically does everything to make her fall in love with him, and she is sick of men controlling her, so she does something about it. And that's where I'm going to end it with this one. But if I were you, I would definitely read this book. It's super interesting, and I'm not even a thriller or kind of horror reader, but this was so good, and it's really good. Okay, the next book I have is The Upside of Falling. I was not a fan of this book, but it's a good YA book. Okay, so this book is by Alex Light, and it is about Becca and Brett, and this has the fake dating trope in it, which if you guys love that, I do too, and it's actually pretty good. But Becca always gets teased from not having a boyfriend, and Brett, I thought I said that wrong, but Brett gets kind of picked on by his friends by not having a meaningful relationship. So they Becca makes a lie that she has a secret boyfriend, and he steps in to be the mystery guy. They both have problems in their life that they can relate to and talk about, so they find like a connection by talking through those things, and they kind of realize that maybe they don't just want to be fake. And there is like family problems that are mentioned and like stuff like that, and the fake dating trope in this is actually really good. But yeah, this is a cute YA. It is a little suggestive, but not that bad. Okay, that is it for my YA section. I mean, I do have other YA books, but these are the ones that I actually liked. Okay, what do I want to do next? Okay, so the next books that I have, they're both by Alina Armas. I probably said that wrong, but you guys just have to stick with me. Okay, so the first book that I'll be talking about is The Spanish Love Deception by her. And I literally love this book. I read this like 2 years ago, I think, but this is still one of my favorite books still. And I literally love her books. Oh, this is bringing me back. And this book is about Catalina, and she needs a date to her sister's wedding that's in Mexico. No, I think it's in Spain. And this is an enemies to lovers, basically, in a workplace, which literally eat that trope up every time. But this is about Catalina. Already said that. But she really needs a date, and she also lied about having a super hot American boyfriend. So she has 4 weeks to find one, but then Aaron walks in, and he's her like boss, I think, or like higher up, and he's her best option. So they end up going to the wedding together, and Catalina realizes that Aaron's not as bad as she thought. Literally love this book. I think you like, if you genuinely want to get into reading, I think this is a great start, because like it's quick, it's fun, it's cute, and a little bit spicy, but not too much. Okay, so the next book by her is The American Roommate Experiment. I read this actually quite recently, and I even tabbed it up. I never annotate books, but I did with this one, because I had blue tabs and it like matched perfectly. This book is about Rosie and Lucas, and they both have to share an apartment because in Rosie's apartment, her ceiling fell in, and she could not afford to get a new apartment. And Lucas came back from Mexico to go here because he's traveling the world. So they both end up staying in the same apartment because it's Catalina's apartment, and she's her best friend and her cousin. Also, you can like read these like separately. They don't go together, but it kind of makes more sense if you read this one first. But you don't need to. But they end up having to stay in the same apartment, and she is a like secret author. Like, she quit her job to be an author, but like nobody's really supportive, so she doesn't really talk about it. She wants to write romance books, and she has an intense case of writer's block, and Lucas comes up with a great idea to go on dates with her to spark her imagination. And when they go through these dates, they actually end up enjoying each other's company. And yeah, so yeah, I would definitely read this book to see where Lucas and Rosie's story goes. But yeah, this was a very good book, and it was super cute. And this one was spicier than The Spanish Love Deception, but I don't know which one I liked better. They were both so good. Gotta have a hot cocoa break. Okay. Okay, so the next author I'm going to talk about is Ali Hazelwood, and I love Ali Hazelwood. So we already did talk about Check and Mate, so you already have a recommendation there. But I actually just bought this book, so I can't talk about it because I have not read it, so I don't actually know. But this is called Problematic Summer Romance, and I'll review this once I'm done. But anyways, so I think the first Ali Hazelwood book I read was The Love Hypothesis. This was when I first got like started into reading, and this was a great start. Like, this is not a very spicy book. It's a cute romance, workplace, like techie, like smart, sciencey, right up my alley. Sorry guys, I had to refresh my mind. It's been a hot minute since I read this. Okay, this book is about Adam and Olive, and Olive does not believe in love, and her best friend does, but Olive is not a very loving, like, she's a loving person, just doesn't love. But she creates a hypothesis, and what do you do when you have a hypothesis? You test it. So she creates a love hypothesis, the love hypothesis, and panics and kisses the first guy that she sees for this hypothesis, because you need proof. And that man would be Adam, which also happens to be a professor who is kind of a jerk, and also happens to have six-pack. So surprisingly, because he's a professor, he like actually helps her, and they start fake dating, which literally love that trope. But they start fake dating, and he helps her through her schooling. And suddenly their little experiment doesn't feel fake anymore. So they have to explore that. Also, this is like a pen, so sorry. Okay. My boyfriend just snapped me. Anyway, he can wait. So the next book is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This book is one of my favorite books of all time. 5 stars. If you read my favorite books, which I'm pretty sure I posted, yeah. I was talking about this book. So I don't even remember what this is about, low-key. Like, you know when you read a book, actually, I'm literally telling you, like, how to get into reading, but once you start reading, you'll understand, like, when you have, like, a book that you really love and you read it so fast, like, sometimes you kind of forget about it. Okay. This is about Elise and Jax. Not Jax, Jack. This is about Elise and Jack, and let me read this. So, Elise fake dates people for her job, like, one of her jobs. Like, it's kind of confusing, but you just have to read it to, like, get the gist. But she fake dates people for money, and she fake dates this guy, and Jack is his brother, and he also happens to be in her way of her dream job. So like she hates him, and like they have a big rivalry. I probably said that. Did I? I think I always say that word wrong. Rivalry. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. They have like a big like enemies moment, and once they start like hanging out more, because like they start hanging out more and getting to know each other, and they kind of realize that they really like each other. Elise was expecting this whole sabotage, like enemies vibe, but they actually got along. They get to know each other and realize that their company isn't as bad as they thought. But you're gonna have to read to find out where Jack and Elise go and what the rest entails for them. That's one of my favorite books, like I said. So the last book I have for Ali Hazelwood is Deep End. I read this pretty recently, maybe like a month or 2 ago. This is a really spicy book, but I ate it right up. Scarlett and Lucas, and they both swim competitively. Scarlett is a diver and he's a swimmer. Got the hot cocoa burps. Anyways. So, Lucas is dating one of her best friends, and they ended up breaking up. And Scarlett realizes that Lucas may be into some things that Scarlett also enjoys. And they get set up by their friends, and they actually end up really, really liking each other. And yeah, this is a very spicy book, so if you don't like spice, do not read this. Do not read this. But I actually really like this book, and one of my favorite things, like, I hate, like, the miscommunication trope or, like, stuff like that. This did not have that, which was my favorite. but this is a super good book. So the next book, or next books I should say, that I have is a series, which I think this was like the first book that I actually read that like got me into reading, which was Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. And Lucy Score is actually one of my favorite authors as well. But I'm going to tell you about like each book like really quick. But this was the first book that I read that got me into reading. Like, I don't even think I need to like look at the back. Okay, this is about Knox and Naomi. Yeah. Good job. Okay, this is about Knox and Naomi, and she's a runaway bride. And she also has a twin sister that is kind of evil, which is kind of funny, like twin evil sister. Anyways, and Knox hates her twin sister, and he ends up thinking like that's her because they obviously look alike, and actually yells at her in a coffee shop. And she moves into this small town romance. And I actually think I need to look at the back. I don't even remember. And her evil twin sister leaves Naomi with her daughter, so Naomi has to be basically a mother figure to her niece. And because Naomi is struggling with being basically a parent with no job, no money, no car, Knox thinks the least I can do is just help her out. And they get to know each other and have a cute little love story. I literally love this book. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone hates this book, but this got me into reading, and I loved it. And it was like a big book, and I loved it. Okay, the next book is Things We Hide from the Light. This is about Nash and Lena, and Lena is Nash's friend, and Nash is the chief of police, and in this book, he got hurt very badly, and because there is like a hint of like mystery in this book, and kind of like a mystery factor, if that makes sense, but which also makes it really interesting. And Lena is also in town for specific reasons because she's like a detective or something, I don't know, and she like doesn't want anyone to know why she's in town because it's obviously a secret mission. And Nash finds out, and their like flirty friendship kind of turns into like hate, but then they can't tell, like they can't like decipher between hate and lust. So they get to know each other really well. And no, this is cute. This is cute. This is cute. This is cute. Just read this. This is like a good book, and it's got a cute cover. So yeah, I probably just said nothing about this book basically, but yeah. So the next book, Things We Left Behind, is my holy grail. I need a hot cocoa. This book is literally my holy grail. This was one of my favorite photos. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm pretty sure this is signed actually. With love, XOXO Lucy. Okay, this is about, I don't even probably know even how to say his name because I read this so fast, but it's about Sloane and Lucian. I don't really know. Anyway, so this is like a second chance romance, and Sloane and Lucian, or whatever his name is, like hate each other because of the past. And when they literally hate each other so much, but then when their bickering kind of turns into like flirting, they hit it off and make a deal, and they actually start to like each other and like each other's company once again, and get to know each other way more and like on a deeper level. And when Lucian, or I don't even know, Lucian maybe, I don't know, you guys are just gonna have to trust the process. It's a good book. But when he like realizes like he cannot leave Sloane alone, kind of rhymes, like he makes a move. So this book, genuinely read it. It's really good. And this is a series that you kind of have to read all of them to like know what's happening. Okay, the next book wasn't my favorite, but I'll show you anyways. So this is a fantasy book. It's called Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This was not my favorite book of all time. Like, I'm just gonna say this because, like, it's one of the fantasy books that did get me into reading, but it wasn't my favorite. This is basically about dragons and stuff. This is about Violet and Xaden, and she wants to be a scribe, but her mother forces her to be a writer. So she has to go into the writer's quadrant. She forces her to go into the writer's quadrant or something, and she's like, oh, sounds so pick me, but like she's so small and tiny and fragile and like tiny, and she really struggles on the dragons and like building her muscle and stuff. So she learns the hard way that she needs to be tough. And Xaden hates Violet and basically has a death wish on her and tries to kill her basically multiple times. But this is an enemies to lovers book, and if you guys are into dragons and stuff, this is your vibe. I basically just said nothing about this book, but it wasn't my favorite, and I'm done talking about it. I promise I'm nice, but like with the skip. The next book that I have is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune or Carly Fortune. I don't really know. I read this book recently, made like basically 2 videos about it. Did not think I was gonna love this book, but I did. This is about, tell me why I just read this and I can't even remember their names. Oh my god, of course. This is about Persephone and Sam. So she goes to the lake every year with her parents in the summertime, and her and Sam are like childhood best friends because they go to the lake and Sam lives there, and they genuinely like start to fall in love throughout the years until a big mishap happens and they cut off all ties and they never go back to the lake. So then, after a very, very long time, his brother Charlie calls her and's like, my mom just passed away. Like, can you come down to her funeral? And obviously Persephone is like, yes, I'm gonna be there like soon. So they have to go to the parents' funeral, or their mom's funeral, and this is like Persephone's chance, like make it up to Sam and like have like good blood, not bad blood with him. And they end up like hitting it off. They learn to forgive each other, but have to talk about some very big things that happened in the past, which is very hard conversation for them. But I really, really recommend this. There is like a slight cheating trope in here, which I hated. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed this book. Definitely would recommend. Okay, so the last book, which some of you guys are going to hate me for, even though this is like getting into reading, so maybe you guys don't read, or this is just TBR, is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And this gets overly hated in my opinion. I did not think it was I do not think it was that bad. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, it was like so unnecessarily spicy. Okay, but you could have read the reviews. Yes, this is a very, very spicy book. This is about Nate and Anastasia, and she does like ice skating and he's like a hockey player, obviously from a couple of the book. Anyways, and they have to share a rink, which makes Anastasia really mad because obviously I'd be mad too. But her skate partner ends up like breaking his leg or something. When Anastasia's skate partner like injures himself or something, she has Nate like skate with her and help her practice, and they get to know each other and actually like each other's company. So yeah, they like basically hit it off, and she denies it that she doesn't like Nate, but sparks are flying. Anyways, so this is a very spicy book, but if you're not into spice, don't read this. But yeah, this is a cute little book too. Sorry this video was like basically me yapping, and if you stayed all this way, please like it and comment or subscribe or whatever you want to do. And sorry this was probably boring, but my other book, or why do I keep saying books? My other videos, I promise, aren't this boring. But if you did like this video, please like it. And yeah, if you guys want more videos like this, comment, or if you want other videos, just comment and I'll try to make them. And I'll see you guys next time, and Gabby out.